Today, I want to talk about subject and verb agreement. You need to make sure that the subject and the verb always agree. I'm going to show you a variety of sentences. Is the subject agreeing with the verb? Sentence number 1. Peanut butter and jelly is delicious. Sentence number 2. 2 and 2 equal 4. Neither the customers nor Juan want to go to Paris. Number 4. Your team are coming to the meeting tomorrow. And number 5. Joseph's boss, who decided to promote all his friends last month, was fired yesterday. So, which sentences are correct and which ones are not? Let's find out. Sentence number 1. Peanut butter and jelly is delicious. This one is correct. But why? Why is it correct? Why do we use is instead of are? Do you know the rule? Sentence number 2. This one is incorrect. We should have added the s to the verb equals. It should be in the third person. The question is, why? Do you know why? If we have 2 and 2, it looks like a compound subject. Sentence number 3 is also incorrect. The verb want should have the s of the third person. Do you know why? Number 4, this one is correct. Your team are coming to the meeting tomorrow. But the question here, can we say the team is coming to the meeting tomorrow? Yes, we can say that. Both options are good. But why? And number 5, Joseph's boss, who decided to promote all his friends last month, was fired yesterday. This one is also correct. The rules of subject and verb agreement are coming up. Rule number 1 is about the singular indefinite pronouns. Yes, they are singular and therefore they take a singular verb. However, there are some of them that are quite tricky. For example, everybody or everyone. Nobody wants to come to your meeting. Nobody, although it refers to multiple persons, it should take a singular verb. The same thing happens with everybody is annoyed with you. Everybody refers to multiple people, multiple persons. However, everybody is a singular indefinite pronoun that takes a singular verb. Everybody is third person of the singular. The words everybody and everyone are indefinite pronouns that describe a group of people. But grammatically, they are singular. The last part of each word is a singular noun, body and one. Therefore, they are treated as singular. We also have plural indefinite pronouns, but because they are plural, it is obvious that they need to take a plural verb. And there are also some indefinite pronouns that can take a singular and a plural verb. Let's have a look at those. Those indefinite pronouns that can be singular and plural are all, many, more, most, and some. So when do they take a singular verb and when do they take a plural verb? Well, let's have a look. We can say all of the children are very happy. Children is plural, therefore it takes a plural verb. However, we can say all of the coffee is ruined. Coffee is singular, therefore it takes a singular verb. But now it's time for me to remind you that if you're not subscribed to the channel, this is the right time to do it. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified every time I release tutorials. So rule number 2 is about compound subjects with the conjunction and. So a compound subject whose parts are joined with and usually takes a plural verb, regardless of whether those parts are singular or plural. Let's see some examples. The cash flow and cash outflow are reported quarterly. Competencies and skills are part of your resume. The CEO and all the directors are in the boardroom at the moment. So in these 3 examples, we have different kinds of compound subjects. In the first one, we have 2 singular subjects, inflow
and outflow with a plural verb. In the second example, we have competences, which is a plural subject, and skills, which is also a plural subject. Therefore, two plural subjects join with and, they need a plural verb, are. And in the third examples, we have CEO, Chief Executive Officer, which is a singular noun, and we got all the directors, which is a plural noun. Singular and plural noun, compound subject, they need a plural verb, are. There are some exceptions to this rule. Exception number 1. When the parts of a compound noun subject are joined by and, but are generally thought to be a single unit, then they take a singular verb, not a plural verb, a singular one. For example, peanut butter and jelly is the preferred sandwich among staff members. Or the CEO and my wife are or is coming to the meeting tomorrow. What is going on here? Well, in the first example, peanut butter and jelly, the same as spaghetti and meatballs, this compound subject is considered as a unit, not as two different elements. It's just a recipe, peanut butter and jelly or spaghetti and meatballs. Therefore, this compound subject needs a singular verb. In the second case, however, the CEO and my wife is coming to the meeting. If you use a singular verb, it means that both the CEO and your wife or my wife are the same person. But if you use a plural verb, the CEO and my wife are coming to the meeting, you consider these two people to be different. You know, the CEO is one person, whereas my wife is another person. There is a second exception to this rule. When the parts of a compound subject are joined by and, but the subject is modified by the words each or every, then the subject is going to need a singular verb. This compound subject is going to need a singular verb. Let's see some examples. Each business and restaurant has to display a business license. Second example, every CEO and COO is coming to the meeting tomorrow. So the presence of each and every is going to force the verb to be singular. That is the exception number 2 to the rule of compound subject with and. Rule number 3 is also about compound subjects. But in this case, instead of having the conjunction and, we have the conjunction or. Or, either or, neither nor. Let's see the rule. A compound subject made up of two singular parts that are joined by or nor takes a singular verb. Let's see some examples. James or John knows who is coming to the office today. Neither James nor John knows who is coming to the office today. We can also have a compound subject that is made up of one singular part and one plural part that are joined by or nor. So, in this case, we must use a verb whose number matches the number of the part of the subject that is closest to the verb. Let's illustrate this with some examples. Neither the head nor the assistants want to attend the workshop. Neither the head nor the assistants want to attend the workshop. In this case, the second subject, the assistants, is plural versus the first one, the head. And we can see that the verb want agrees with the second subject, the assistants. Conversely, in second example, neither the assistants nor the head wants to attend the workshop. This case is the other way around. The second subject is singular, the head, therefore the verb is singular, wants. Those are the rules. Did you know those? In rule number 4, we are going to have a look at collective nouns and how this kind of subject can create confusion when it's time to agree with the verb. Let's see some examples first. The team was formed in 2012. The team are having sandwiches for lunch, or the teams are being questioned by the committee. The collective noun team can be used with a singular verb, like in the first example. The team was formed, in passive voice actually. With a plural verb, the team are having sandwiches, or the team itself can have a plural form. So collective nouns, it looks like they can be singular and plural. But what is a collective noun? Let's have a look. So basically, it's a singular noun that refers to a group of people or a group of things. For example, government, group, herd, mob, orchestra, staff, team. Those are examples of collective nouns. Collective noun can be singular or plural itself. I mentioned this earlier. For example, families, governments, groups, herds. But collective nouns are usually used with a singular verb. Of course, there are some differences between British and American. British English tend to treat collective nouns as plural, whereas American English is going to do the opposite. They're going to treat them as singular. And in here we can see that each country is using a different verb to agree with that collective noun. Chelsea were Premier League champions last year. This is British English, and they use a plural verb to refer to or to agree with Chelsea. Chelsea is a team of players. Whereas the American version in the magazine Forbes, they say Manchester United sees digital as the key to future commercial blah blah blah. So they use a singular verb here for a collective noun, Manchester United, which is also a football team. We have to be careful. Why? Because the same collective noun must not be treated as both singular and plural in the same sentence. Let's see some examples. The family is the collective noun, is well and sends its best wishes. So in this case, the verb to be is in the third person singular to agree with family. And then we got the verb send in the third person as well of the singular with the s. But also we have the possessive adjective it. It has to be singular as well. What happened in sentence number 2? In this sentence, the verbs are both in plural, are and send. And so is the possessive adjective there. In sentence number 3, we have what this warning is about. The family is well and send their best wishes. So we got is, a verb to be in singular, to agree with family, treat it as a singular unit. But then the second verb, send, that one is not in singular, is in plural, and so is the possessive adjective there. That is all for today. That's the end of this tutorial. I've given you some of the most important rules that we need to consider in order to ensure that the subject and the verb always agree. There is a subject and verb agreement. There are other rules, but that is material for another tutorial. I will be creating that one sometime soon. Stay tuned.